Hi friends, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing block 2, which is going to be a double crochet block. This is going to be another basic foundation crochet stitch that you're going to see in a lot of projects. If you need help creating your chain, I'll link a video to the block 1 we did where I go in depth on how to create your chain. Just like in our block 1, we're going to start with a chain 20. So go ahead and chain up 20 and I'll meet you there. Alright, so we've got our 20 chains now, and I'm going to put my thumb there on that last chain just to give me an idea where it's at. I'm going to chain a few more, so I'm going to chain 3 more, and this is going to be the height of our double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and count to the 4th chain where my finger is at, and then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook into that 4th chain. I'm going to pull up a loop, and I should have 3 loops on my hook now. Now I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and I'm going to pull it through 2 of those loops, and then I'm going to do it again and pull it through the last 2 loops. So you've just completed your first double crochet. We're going to go into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is how you do a double crochet. I'm going to leave this up here as I complete all of the double crochets for the rest of the row. So continue down, placing double crochets in each one of those chain spaces. As we near the end of our row, I'm going to show you a little trick that I use to make my edges of my work look amazing. Now this can be a little fiddly at first, but if you stick with it, I promise it's going to be a valuable asset to have in your crocheting skill set. So just bear with me. Here I'm placing my last double crochet into that last stitch, tightening my tail. Now I'm going to make sure that my yarn is coming from the front, so when I pull it, that string's being pulled from the front. Here's what we have so far. It's beautiful. So normally you would just chain 3 and then either work into that same stitch or go into the next stitch. So I'm going to show you what that chain 3 is going to look like. So when you chain 3 and work into the next stitch, then you're going to have this really weird looking loopy thing, and that's fine if you're not too concerned about that. That's totally fine. But personally, I don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to undo this here real quick, go back to where I have my loop there, make sure the yarn's coming from the front. Now I'm going to turn this, and then I'm going to pull that loop up to about the height of a double crochet. Then I'm going to wrap that yarn around the hook and then poke it through that stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, wrap it around, yarn over, pull up to the last 2 loops. So that creates a standing double crochet. And the standing double crochet is a little bit more of a firm foundation for that edge stitch. Notice how it looks more like a stitch and not just like 3 chain spaces. So I'm going to do that one more time so you can see what I've done. So make sure the yarn, when you tighten it, this piece right here is going to the ball, the one in the front. See how it tightens and the front tightens down? Perfect. All right, pull up to about the height of a double. Hold that stitch, hold it tight, wrap your needle around there, your hook around there, and then insert into that stitch. Pull up a loop, and then pull up another loop and pull through. If you let that go, just make sure you hold onto it pretty tight, because that can be the most fiddly part right there. And then you've created your standing double crochet. Now what I'm going to do is put double crochets in each one of these stitches all the way down. So I should have 20 still. So I'm going to count my stitches and place double crochets all the way down the top of that work. And I'll meet you at the end. Alright, as we near the end of our work, I want to show you the difference here between the chain 3 and the standing double crochet. So in the end here, we have our chain 3, and it looks a little bit weird, right? So we have this bumpy edge, and like, do we put the stitch in there? Do we not? So it looks a little bit awkward to me. If you're going to be adding a border or adding in any kind of decorative edging to the piece, then this might not be such a big deal to you. But because we're doing a block here, it's the kind of a big deal. So we have that big hole there, right? I don't like that. But here's what we have so far. We have 2 rows of double crochet, and I'm going to go ahead and count my stitches here. So it appears I have an extra stitch. The chain 3 was an extra stitch for me. So I'm going to go ahead and unravel that stitch, and now it's even. So now I'm going to insert my hook in there, make sure the yarn tail or the yarn leading to the ball is coming out the front of the work. And then what I'm going to do is turn the work, pull up to a double, to the height of a double, and I'm going to do my standing double crochet. And then I'm going to complete another row of double crochet across the entire work. So this is going to be the repeat for this block. You'll just keep working double crochets, doing either the standing double crochet when you turn your work or the chain 3, whichever one you feel more comfortable with at this point. I would highly recommend practicing that standing double crochet, because that is going to make your work look so much better at the end. So go ahead and keep adding your double crochets, and I will meet you at the end. just like in our last video, I'm going to go ahead and get my little ruler here, and I'm going to measure out the width of this block. Now I do have that chain 3 that's making it a little wonky on the right side, so I'm going to try to just ignore that, and it looks to be about 6.5 inches. So I'm going to want to work some rows up to about 6.5 inches just to make this a proper square. So you can see I've got quite a ways to go, but the great thing about the double crochet stitch is that it works up 2 times faster. So now I have 6.5 inches by 6.5 inches. And look at how beautiful the fabric is. This is a much looser fabric than the single crochet. So if you want something that's a little bit more flexible for garments or scarves or blankets, then this is definitely your go-to stitch. The double crochet gives you a nice flexible fabric. So now I'm just going to weave in the ends. If you want a more detailed walkthrough about how to weave those in properly, I recap that in my block 1 video. So if you haven't checked that video out, please make sure to check that out, because I will show you exactly how to weave in ends, some tips and tricks to get them to stay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the weaving, and then I'll meet you there. And there is our finished block. Block number 2 consistent of double crochets. Here I'm going to place our block 1 next to it so we can get an idea of what this is going to look like. Beautiful. Awesome. If you enjoyed this tutorial, if you've learned a lot, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you can catch block number 3. Thank you so much. Bye.